I started using AI productivity tools in my daily routine about 8 months ago, and they probably save me about 1 to 2 hours every day. Out of the hundreds of AI productivity tools out there are maybe 5 that I use every single day. But the AI app that I use at night time, just before I go to bed, is by far my favorite app. If you're interested in speed learning or just self-education in general, you'll probably love it too. Anyway, I'll talk about that a bit later on. The first AI app that I use in the morning is Sniped. So I spent years experimenting with my morning routine to make it as productive as possible. And I think I've got it nailed down quite well. The biggest thing here is that I keep it simple. I wake up, I brush my teeth, I shower, I feed the cats, I clean their litter tray, and I'm straight out of the door, heading to the office within 30 minutes of waking up. No messing about with meditation, with yoga, having a healthy breakfast, journaling, or going to the gym. In my opinion, at least for me, they're all just distractions and delay what time I start my work day. I do some of those habits later on in the day though, but not in the morning. So when I'm showering in the morning, I almost always listen to podcasts. For me at least, podcasts in the morning are a super efficient way of learning, but also getting in the right frame of mind for starting the day off in the right mindset. So for my podcast, I use Sniped, which is a phone podcast app that not just plays podcasts, but it also highlights, take notes, and summarizes your favorite podcasts using AI. So it's interesting to me how AI is changing how we consume content. It's not just a case of me listening to a podcast anymore, but my podcast workflow has completely changed. For example, my podcast workflow basically consists of 2 apps, Sniped and Notion. So Sniped lets me capture valuable golden nuggets of information from a podcast, because for me at least, in a 2-hour podcast, there's maybe only 6 or 7 golden nuggets that really resonate with me so much that I want to write them down. And that's when I use my knowledge bank in Notion, where I write and store those golden nuggets. And the knowledge bank is designed basically to capture that 1% of information that really matters. And so reviewing that knowledge bank periodically, let's say once every month, ensures that the information is kept in my long-term memory. Sniped will also save any clip from a podcast with just 1 tap of your headphones, and it will automatically create an AI-generated transcript, summary, and title. It gives you 5-minute summaries before you actually listen to the podcast, or it's good for summarizing the main points after listening to a podcast. All podcast episodes on Sniped have transcripts, so you can either read along or skip to the parts that you're more interested in, and you can share podcast highlights super easily, and you can sync your podcast highlights to your second brain in Notion or Obsidian or other software. And just for your information, I am not sponsored by Sniped. I've never been in contact with them, but I just genuinely love their podcast app. And also, before I forget, if there are any AI productivity tools that you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. And if I haven't tried them already, I'll test them out and review them in a future video. Motion. I've noticed this year almost all calendar apps are starting to implement AI into their calendars, and the AI aspect does actually make planning your day more efficient. Motion is essentially a calendar and task platform that automatically prioritizes tasks, schedules meetings, and resolves calendar conflicts. And so I'll show you my calendar. This is a very typical week for me. My workday starts at about 5 a.m. My first time box is from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. because I'm doing a write a book in 30-day challenge over on Instagram, and I'm documenting the whole process every morning. Then at 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. is when I have my writing block. I have another time block from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. to go to the gym, and another at 6 p.m. for dinner. And then I have Playstack calls at night, sometimes lasting until 11 p.m. because of time zone differences. So that's the calendar part of my Motion. And notice how my time blocks are all color coordinated for different types of tasks. I feel like one of the advantages of Motion is never having to plan or reprioritize your tasks manually. And that's really what sets Motion Notion apart from a lot of other task apps or calendar apps. So let's say I have a task to give feedback to a video editor for a YouTube video. I will press the add task button into the task name, then I click save, and then I head over to my calendar. It automatically scheduled that task into my day. Notion is definitely one of my favorite AI calendars. Now, the next AI tool is maybe not the app that saves me the most time, but it's definitely the most fun AI tool on this list, and that is Kyber. So Kyber is a creative platform that uses AI to generate videos and images based on users' inputs. So you can provide text inputs, which are known as prompts, to generate unique assets from scratch. Linkin Park, they actually made an entire music video using Kyber, which now has almost 70 million views on YouTube, which is insane. And you can sign up for free, super easy to use. You can upload an image, type in a prompt of what you want to create a video of, and they even make it easier by giving you some options to choose from. So I'll choose a futuristic cyberpunk. And the second prompt is what style you want the video to be in. So I'll choose steampunk. I mean, you can literally type whatever you want into the prompts and Kyber will make the videos according to your prompts. So you can be as creative as you like. Then I click next. I choose the video duration 8 seconds, camera movement, zoom out. Then it will generate some previews. I choose the preview that I like the most and press create video. And after a couple of minutes of rendering, it makes a completely unique AI generated video from the prompts I gave it. Quite impressive. But here's an AI tool that I like even more. So most people know about ChatGPT. It took the world by storm and in less than a year went from 0 to 180 million users. But in my opinion, there's a better alternative to ChatGPT, and that is Perplexity. So Perplexity AI is a tool that basically acts like Google search. And if you've used ChatGPT, Perplexity is very, very similar. So I'll ask it, what is the capital of Japan? And it gives me the answer. But, and this is what differentiates it from ChatGPT, what I like about Perplexity is that it gives sources to the information. So I trust it a lot more than ChatGPT, because when I'm using ChatGPT, I'm always a little bit cautious about whether it's just making something up, because it does do that quite often. Let's compare Perplexity's answers directly with ChatGPT. I'll give both chatbots the same question and we'll see which one generates the best answers. I'll first ask ChatGPT, how will AI change productivity in the workforce in 2123? So in 100 years time from now. And this is what it responds. It gives me 10 pretty robust points. It's a good answer. I have no complaints with that. However, Perplexity managed to one-up ChatGPT with its answers. So I gave Perplexity the exact same prompt, but this time the answer includes not only sources, so you can actually fact check its answers, but it also gives research and studies to back up its answers. So although Perplexity only gave 4 ways in how AI is going to change productivity in the workforce in 100 years, whereas ChatGPT gave 10 ways, but Perplexity's answer is far more credible and just a stronger answer overall. Also for me, Perplexity is more responsive and less clunky than ChatGPT, especially if you're using plugins with ChatGPT that slows the whole user experience down, at least from my experience. And it also has a more aesthetic user interface than ChatGPT. So yeah, Perplexity, definitely worth checking out, as is the next productivity tool that has been blowing up over the last few years, and that is Connect Team. If you're a business owner, team leader, or manager, particularly in non-desk industries such as construction, cleaning, healthcare, or hospitality, this video sponsor Connect Team could be the one-stop app to run your business day to day. So you can take full control of your team using scheduling, payroll, company updates, chat, phone book, surveys, managing events, employee onboarding, all within one app. For example, with the time clock feature, you can easily track when an employee clocks in and out, and then you can export those timesheets for your payroll. You can also instantly create and share schedules with your team, and you have a clear overview of when everyone is working. You can create and assign tasks very easily using the task management feature, and you can also create, manage, and track workflows with digital forms. So software like Connect Team that is super easy to use both for the manager and the employee can be so helpful in helping managers and leaders focus on business growth. Connect Team is super easy to set up. It's completely free for up to 10 people, or if you have more than 10 employees, you can access a 14-day free trial with no credit card needed. Definitely worth checking out. I'll drop a link in the description below. The next AI productivity app that I love is Wizdolia. So Wizdolia is an app that I actually just started testing out earlier this week. It's an AI flashcard tool that can be super useful for students and knowledge workers, but it is targeted primarily for students as a kind of a speed learning flashcard app to help with exam revision. Basically how it works is you upload your lecture slides or any material that you're learning and you want to study, and Wizdolia will generate hundreds of flashcards, and then you can revise for your exams using the flashcards that were just made for you. The Chrome extension is quite useful too, so I'll go to a website or a PDF or a research paper or some kind of written document. In this example, I'll use an article from the New York Times. Then I open the Wizdolia extension and I ask it to generate flashcards for me from this website. It's a super efficient way of learning. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know exactly how important I feel active learning is, where you're actually thinking about what you're learning. You're asking questions, you're answering questions, because it's this process that allows that information to be cemented into your long-term memory, as opposed to just passively learning, where you're just kind of reading and not really processing. So if there are any AI tools that you use that I should also be using, do let me know in the comments and I'll try them all out. And if I like them, I'll add them to a future video. And if you like this video, I made another video on the 5 free AI tools that saved me 7+ hours a week that I actually do use. You can click on the card right here to watch that. And don't forget to check out this sponsor, Connect Team, link in the description below.